Life doesn't truly begin until we've done the necessary groundwork. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, proposed that the first few decades of life aren't the main event, but rather a period of preparation, laying the foundation for what's to come. He famously asserted that life really begins at 40. Up until that point, Jung believed, we are merely gathering information, gathering experiences, doing research, so to speak. This idea may seem bold, even provocative, challenging the common narrative surrounding aging. Society often teaches us to fear growing older, framing midlife as a stage defined by decline, crisis, or even chaos. Popular culture perpetuates this fear, often depicting midlife as a time of existential dread, reckless decisions, and desperate attempts to cling to youth. However, Jung invites us to look at midlife through an entirely different lens. Rather than viewing this phase as a crisis, what if it's actually an awakening? What if it isn't the end of something, but the beginning of something entirely new? An opportunity to step into a more authentic, meaningful version of ourselves. It's a powerful reframing that challenges the conventional wisdom about aging and offers an entirely fresh perspective on what it means to grow older and wiser. Before beginning, be sure to subscribe to the Mental Spirit channel so you don't miss the next videos on personal and spiritual growth. And now, let's begin. To truly grasp this idea, we need to reflect on what the first 40 years of life represent. These early decades can be seen as a phase of exploration, a time when we are actively gathering experiences, shaping our identities, and learning how the world around us functions. It's a period of rapid growth, during which we absorb ideas, beliefs, and values from the people and cultures we encounter. But it's also a time of deep searching. Questions like, who am I? What should I do with my life? What will bring me happiness? Become the driving forces of our youth. Yet, despite all the searching, the answers we find often feel incomplete. In these formative years, we are constantly attempting to make sense of life, while simultaneously trying to understand who we truly are. We build careers, form relationships, and start families, often with a focus on external success and societal approval. We're learning, striving, and yes, sometimes even failing, but through it all, we are being shaped and molded. Yet, as Jung suggests, this period is not the final destination. It's all preparation, a kind of research, a laying of the groundwork for something far deeper and more meaningful that awaits us later in life. As we approach our 40s, we begin to sense that the old ways of living, those habits and routines that once defined us, no longer bring the satisfaction they once did. The priorities that once seemed so urgent, climbing the career ladder, fitting in with societal norms, constantly striving to meet external expectations, start to lose their grip on us. We start to realize that much of what we've been doing, perhaps for decades, was driven by other people's definitions of success and happiness, not our own. At first, this realization can be unsettling, even disorienting. After all, if much of our life has been shaped by others' standards, what does that mean about who we truly are? But amidst the discomfort, there's also a profound sense of liberation. It's the beginning of a new phase in life, one Jung called individuation. This is the process of becoming whole, of shedding the masks and roles we've played, and of stepping into a life that reflects who we truly are. It's a transformative process that requires us to live life on our own terms, to stop living for others and start living for ourselves. This shift doesn't happen suddenly. It's not a one-time epiphany, but a gradual, often subtle unfolding. It usually begins with small, quiet questions. Is this really all there is? Am I living the life I truly want to live? These questions might arise during a moment of reflection, perhaps after reaching a career milestone, celebrating a significant birthday, or simply during a quiet evening alone when the distractions of daily life fade away. Yet once these questions surface, they refuse to be ignored. They grow louder, more insistent, demanding answers that we can no longer avoid. And the answers? They require us to confront ourselves in ways we never have before, to look at our lives, our choices, and our desires with a new level of honesty. This can be an uncomfortable process, but it is also the key to a deeper, more authentic way of living. The journey toward individuation may not be easy, but it is one that ultimately leads us to a fuller understanding of who we are and what truly matters to us. The world may view this shift as a midlife crisis. It's easy to label these moments of questioning, upheaval, and change as a breakdown or a sign of failure. After all, when we begin to challenge everything we've built and question the meaning of our lives, it's easy to think something is going wrong. But Jung invites us to reframe this experience. What if this isn't a crisis at all? What if it's an opportunity? What if this stage of life, with all its doubts, challenges, and shifts, is precisely what we need to evolve into the person we were always meant to become? Midlife, in Jung's view, is not the beginning of the end. It is the beginning of something much more profound, meaningful, and authentic. This time offers us the chance to move beyond the superficial layers of life and reach deeper into our true selves. To truly appreciate Jung's perspective, it's helpful to first reflect on how we viewed the first half of life. In those earlier years, our primary focus is often on building what Jung called the persona, the outward identity we present to the world. This persona is shaped by a combination of our upbringing, culture, and societal expectations. It's the version of ourselves that seeks approval, fits in, and strives to succeed in the eyes of others. It's the role we play to navigate the world, establish our place in society, and build the foundations of adulthood. And while the persona is an essential part of our development, without it, we wouldn't learn how to function within society or build relationships. It's not the full picture of who we truly are. In fact, it can become limiting if we become too attached to it, mistaking it for our entire identity. Midlife, then, presents the opportunity to step beyond this persona, shedding the layers that no longer serve us, and reconnecting with our truest, most authentic self. It's the chance to live more fully in alignment with who we are, not who we think we should be. But the persona is not the whole self. It is only a mask, a role we play in the world. While it serves a necessary purpose during the earlier stages of life, it is only one facet of who we truly are. The danger arises when we become too attached to this persona, mistaking it for our authentic identity. By the time we reach midlife, the cracks in the persona begin to show. The roles we've played, the successful professional, the devoted parent, the dutiful partner, start to feel increasingly restrictive, as if they no longer fit the deeper person we've become. We start to sense that there is more to us than the image we've been projecting for years, and the life we've been living begins to feel less fulfilling. This is where the real work begins. Jung referred to this process of moving beyond the persona as individuation. Individuation is the journey toward integrating all parts of ourselves, not just the socially acceptable or nice parts, but also the hidden, shadowy aspects that we've ignored or suppressed. The shadow, as Jung described it, contains all the parts of ourselves that we've rejected or buried over time. our fears, insecurities, flaws, unacknowledged desires, and emotional scars. Facing the shadow can be deeply uncomfortable, even painful, because it forces us to confront aspects of ourselves that we've long tried to avoid. It requires us to let go of the comfortable facade and be honest about who we are, flaws and all. But this confrontation with our shadow is not just an exercise in discomfort. It's essential for growth. Only by acknowledging, accepting, and integrating these hidden aspects of ourselves can we become whole. When we allow ourselves to be fully seen, both the light and the dark, we unlock the power to step into our most authentic, empowered selves. This is the transformative process of individuation, and it is the key to creating a life of true fulfillment and purpose. At midlife, the process of individuation intensifies, taking on a new sense of urgency. The questions that arise during this phase shift dramatically. No longer are we preoccupied with external achievements, things like climbing the corporate ladder, accumulating wealth, or meeting societal milestones. Instead, we begin to ask ourselves more profound, personal questions. What truly matters to me? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? What kind of life do I want to create for myself moving forward? These questions are deeply intimate, and the answers cannot be found through the expectations or approval of others. Rather, they require a courageous inward journey, a willingness to turn away from the external noise and listen to the voice of our own hearts. This inward turn is often accompanied by a dramatic shift in priorities. In our youth, we're driven by ambition, competition, and a fierce desire to prove ourselves worthy in the eyes of the world. We chase after success, recognition, and material rewards, believing that these will grant us happiness and fulfillment. But as we approach midlife, these pursuits begin to lose their charm. We realize that the things we once valued, the titles, the accolades, the trophies, are no longer what fill us with joy or purpose. Instead, our focus begins to shift towards something far deeper and more enduring: authenticity, connection, meaning. Life at midlife becomes less about doing and more about being. It's no longer about proving our worth to others or constantly striving for external validation. Instead, it's about aligning our lives with our truest selves and embracing what truly nourishes us. We start to seek relationships, experiences, and work that resonate with our inner values, and we become less concerned with what others think or expect of us. At this stage, the pursuit of genuine fulfillment and peace becomes paramount, and this shift is often the first step toward living a life that is rich with meaning and personal satisfaction. Psychologists and neuroscientists have discovered that this shift in perspective and values is supported by tangible changes in the brain itself. As we age, our brain's emotional centers become more balanced, allowing us to experience emotions in a more measured and thoughtful way. Neuroscientific studies have shown that over time, we become less reactive and more reflective, meaning that we're better equipped to regulate our emotions. This newfound emotional maturity enables us to approach life's challenges with greater calmness and perspective, offering a sense of clarity that many of us may have lacked in our earlier years. With this emotional growth comes the ability to make decisions based on what truly matters to us, rather than being driven by fear or external pressures. We stop living on autopilot, reacting to events and circumstances, and begin to live with a greater sense of intention, purpose, and alignment with our deepest values. However, it's important to note that midlife is by no means free from its challenges. In fact, for many, It can be a period of profound upheaval and transformation. The process of questioning and redefining our lives often requires us to let go of old identities, relationships, and goals, things that once defined who we were. This can feel deeply unsettling, even like a loss, which is why so many people perceive midlife as a crisis. Yet, as Brené Brown astutely points out, what we often call a midlife crisis is really an unraveling. It's a time when we are called to release the identities and expectations that we've been carrying and step into a more authentic version of ourselves. This unraveling can feel messy and disorienting, but it's also a powerful opportunity for growth and self-discovery, paving the way for the next phase of our journey. This unraveling can indeed be messy. It may involve difficult conversations, major life changes, or unsettling periods of uncertainty as we confront the parts of ourselves and our lives that no longer serve us. But it is also a time of profound growth, a chance to shed the layers that have weighed us down and move forward in a more authentic and meaningful way. Viktor Frankl, a renowned psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, famously wrote that the primary drive in human life is the will to find meaning. As we reach midlife, this drive intensifies. We become less willing to follow someone else's script for our lives and more determined to carve out our own path, one that aligns with our true selves, not the expectations imposed upon us. For many people, this shift requires confronting deep-seated fears that may have held us back for years. Fears of judgment, failure, or stepping into the unknown. These fears, though natural, can be paralyzing and keep us stuck in patterns that don't serve our growth. But midlife offers a unique opportunity to face those fears head-on. It's a chance to rewrite the narrative of our lives, to let go of outdated beliefs and attachments, and to embrace what truly matters to us. This process may be challenging, but it is also incredibly freeing. The fears that once controlled us lose their grip, and we gain the courage to pursue lives of meaning, purpose, and authenticity. Abraham Maslow, a pioneer in humanistic psychology, beautifully described this process as self-actualization, the innate drive to realize our fullest potential and become the best version of ourselves. At midlife, self-actualization takes on a new level of depth and significance. It is no longer about the pursuit of external success, recognition, or status, but rather about finding inner fulfillment and peace. It's about living a life that resonates with who we truly are, one that feels authentic, meaningful, and aligned with our core values. While this journey is not without its challenges, it is also incredibly rewarding. Studies consistently show that individuals in their 40s, 50s, and beyond often report higher levels of life satisfaction compared to those in their 20s and 30s. People in this stage of life tend to feel more connected to themselves and others, with a greater sense of self-awareness. There's a noticeable shift away from concerns about others' opinions, and instead, there is a deeper focus on what truly brings them joy and purpose. This newfound clarity and freedom are one of the greatest gifts of midlife. It's a time to fully embrace the freedom to live life on our own terms, without the constraints of societal pressures or expectations. We start to live more intentionally, cherishing what really matters. Jung believed that true freedom comes from fully embracing the complexity of who we are. It's about integrating both the light and the dark, the successes and the failures, the dreams and the disappointments. It's about accepting every part of ourselves, including the ones we find difficult to face. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, Jung said, but it is also the most liberating. This acceptance, though challenging, offers immense liberation and growth. Midlife should not be seen as a time of mourning over what we've lost, but rather a time to celebrate what we've gained: wisdom, clarity, and resilience. It's the opportunity to build a life that mirrors our true selves, one that feels authentic, complete, and whole. It marks a shift from merely researching and planning to actually living in a way that is intentional and fulfilling. In this light, midlife is not the beginning of the end, but the start of something much more profound. It's a turning point, a chance to step into the life we were always meant to lead. Although the journey may be full of challenges, it is also deeply rewarding. Life truly begins at 40, not because we have all the answers, but because we finally start asking the right questions, the ones that will guide us toward a richer, more authentic existence.